स्टुडंट, वेलकम टू अवर चॅनल महाराष्ट्र मीडिया. मी गायत्री सदापुर पुन्हा एकदा तुमचं स्वागत करते आपल्या यूट्यूब चॅनलवर महाराष्ट्र मीडिया. तुम्ही अजूनही आमच्या चॅनलला सबस्क्राईब केलं नसेल तर चॅनलला सबस्क्राईब करा आणि साईडला दिलेल्या बेल आयकॉनला प्रेस करा. ओके, सो लेट स्टार्ट. Chapter number 10, disaster management. In that question number first, complete the table. We have to tell about the two disaster and their symptom, effect and remedy. Okay, see the first disaster, motor accident. Symptoms: there is a traffic jam. Effect: somebody is injured, the car also get damaged. If accident is on the large scale, many people are injured, so some may die too. Remedy: first, disperse the crowd. The injured person should be given first aid and then rush to the hospital for the immediate medical help. Landsliding: the gravity and the severity of the lands depends on the location of the landslides. If there are houses located near the landslide or on cliffs, there would be the major disaster. The houses and people therein are most likely to get buried. The traffic will also halt if the landslides is near the major roads. Remedy: the authority should be informed, injured and trapped people should be removed from the rubble and given medical help as soon as possible. Forest fire: there is a smoke spread out in the atmosphere. If takes place in the natural forest, the birds and the animals run helter-skelter to save their lives and huge flames can be seen. Everything turns into the ashes. The firefighting unit should be called to extinguish the fires if they are spreading in the nearby areas. We should also help in the putting of the fire. If anyone is injured, she should be given medical help. Question number 2, write notes in that. A. Disaster Management Authority. Disaster Management Authority is the body that works at the level of the government from the national level to the village level. This work is basically about the management of any disaster and the tackling the problems of the affected people. At the national level, there is a National Disaster Management Authority for which the Prime Minister is the chairman. For every state, there is a State Disaster Management Authority where the Chief Minister of every state is the chairman. Under the state level, there are district level units where district collector is responsible for the disaster management and implementation of the rehabilitation schemes. Below district level authority, there are taluka and the then village disaster management committees. The Tahsildar is the chairman for the taluka level, while the Sarpanch is the village is responsible for the management of the disaster at the village level. Collector of the district helps in the planning, coordinating and controlling the implementation of the rehabilitation program and also gives the essential instructions and reviews the entire system. B. Nature of the disaster management. Disaster management involves either the prevention of disasters or creating the preparedness of the face them. The action plans are prepared for managing disasters. This is done after studying the different aspects such as the preventive measures, rehabilitation and reconstruction plans. The disasters are tackled by the executing the action plans in the following stages: preparation, remediation and the preparedness, action during the actual disaster response, resurging and the restoration. At every level, there are other voluntary organizations and government meteorological institutions for their help. C. Mock drill. Mock drill is the practice to check whether there is a preparedness for the dealing with the sudden attack of disaster. For this purpose, virtual or the apparent situations that simulate the disaster are created. The reaction time for any type of disaster is checked by such activity. In the presence of the trained personnel, the execution of the rescue plans are observed. People also understand their responsibility at the time of the actual disaster. The experts also correct the execution of plan designed for the disaster redressal. By such a mock drills, the efficiency of the system can be understood in future. The actual calamity strikes, there already preparation for disaster red wrestle therefore mock drill is useful. D. Disaster Management Act 2005. Government of India has made a Disaster Management Act in 2005. The affected people are given all necessary help as per this act. With the humanitarian view, people are rehabilitated and help them to come back to the normalcy after the disaster. As per this act, National Disaster Response Force has been established. This force consists of 12 divisions in entire India which are attached with the Indian Army. The headquarters is located in Delhi, but the action is taken all over the country with the help of army. As per the act in Maharashtra, National Disaster Responses Force is an action through State Reserve Police Force. The personnel of this force are trained accordingly and they take part in the rescue working during a different disaster.
Question 3. Answer the following questions. A. Explain the role of District Disaster Control Unit after occurrence of any disaster. Answer. District Control Unit looks after the disaster management of the district. It is immediately formed either after the impact of disaster or if warning is given about some upcoming disaster. District-wise Disaster Control Unit performs following role. The review of various aspects of disaster is done. Through the Disaster Control Unit, there is a continuous contact established with various agencies like Army, Air Force, Navy, Telecommunication Department, paramilitary forces, etc. for the obtaining help. The unit also coordinates with various voluntary organizations for their help in disaster management. B. Give the reasons for increase in human disaster after the World War. Answer. हां चालेल इथपर्यंत जा. Answer. After Second World War, the feeling of peace and brotherhood among the global citizens were lost. The geographic, religious, racial and ethnic differences sprang up tremendously. Atrocities that Nazi has performed made deep impact on the minds of people. Terrorism, abduction, robberies and social unrest increased in almost all the countries. The financial losses had incurred in the World War the misuse of science and technology was done to retrieve these deficits. At the end of the World War, the atomic bombs were dropped in Japan. This has created health problems in the entire world. Social inequality, economic disparity, racial and religious differences were some adversaries that created unrest in the country. Later, the neighboring nations kept on fighting. The geographical boundaries were changed. People always had feeling of insecurity. The terrorism flourished. All such instances gave rise to man-made disaster. See, what are the objectives of disaster management, or state any four objectives of disaster management. Answer. Objectives of disaster management: to save human life from disaster, to help them for moving away from the place of disaster by rapid action, to supply essential commodities to the affected people. This helps to reduce the gravity of disaster. People are given grains, water and clothes and other basic necessities under these objectives, to bring back the conditions of affected people to normalcy, to rehabilitate the affected and displaced victim, to think and execute the protective measure in order to develop capability to face the disaster in future. D. Why it is essential to get the training of first aid? Answer. When there is a disaster, we need to immediately help the victim till the medical help arrives. One should be in position to treat the injured and save his or her life. In such cases, knowing first aid is essential. Such kind of need may arise in case of our parents, our siblings at home, or with friends in school. Those who are injured should be treated at once. If we know about techniques of first aid, we can save such person before the medical help arrives. Therefore, it is essential to get the training of the first aid. E. Which different methods used for transportation of patients and why? Answer. For the transportation of patient, following methods are used. Cradle method. This method is used for children and persons with less weight. Carrying piggyback. This method is useful in carrying the unconscious persons. Human crutch method. If one leg of the person is injured, then the victim is supported with minimum load on the other leg. This is called as the human crutch method. Pulling or lifting method. For carrying an unconscious person for a short distance, this method is used. Carrying on 4-hand chair. This method is used when the support is needed for the part below waist region. Carrying on 2-hand chair. Patient that cannot use their hands but can hold their body upright are carried by such a method. Stretcher. By making a temporary stretcher in case of emergency, the unconscious patient can be moved. Such a temporary stretchers are made by using bamboos, blanket, etc. Question 4. On the basis of the structure of disaster management authority, form the same for your school. Let's see. School management. Medical officers of the school, principal, parent representative. Then principal, supervisor, teachers in charge for disaster management, and vice principal. Then in supervisor there are class teachers, there are student representative. In student representative there are boys or girls. And in supervisor there are peons and helpers. Then in vice principal there are class teachers. In class teachers there are student representative, boys or girls, both. Then question number 5 is write down the reasons, affect and remedial measures taken for any two disaster experienced by you. Answer. Students are expected to write the answer based on their own experiences. Question 6. Which different aspects of disaster management would you check for your school and why? Answer. For the pre-disaster management at school, following aspects will be inspected. Are the telephones, the school working properly? Is there a first aid box in each class? Are there any basic medicines in the school? Is the team ready for rescue of smaller children from lower classes? Has monitor or perfect participated in a mock drill? Does he or she know about first aid? Is the contact of parent representative available in emergency situation? Is the medical officer or doctor present on the school campus? Is there enough drinking water and some dry snacks available in the school? Are the staircases and corridors suitable for quick evacuations for the children? Question number 7 is identify the type of disaster. A. Terrorism. Answer. Man-made international. Due to the activities of terrorism, many innocent lives are lost. Many are seriously injured. Some become crippled for their entire life. Buildings, monuments, vehicles, everything is completely destroyed. There is rift between the different religions or sects. The peaceful atmosphere is disturbed. The entire society is under the constant fear of insecurity. Then next, soil erosion. Answer. The natural, geophysical, geological. When the upper fertile layer of the soil is lost, it becomes barren. The trees are uprooted. The fertility of the area is lost. The land becomes unsuitable for cultivation or farming due to wind, flowing water or grazing animals. The naturally occurring soil erosion becomes hazardous for the environment. Then hepatitis. Answer. Natural, biological, animal origin. Hepatitis is a viral disease which spreads through the contaminated food and water. The outburst of epidemic of hepatitis is difficult to control. As in big cities, the quality of roadside food is often consumed. The spread of hepatitis is fast. People suffer due to the hepatitis. Then next, forest fire. D. Forest fire. Answer. Natural, biological, plant origin. Due to the heat and wind, the dry grass and the shrubs catch fire in the forest, resulting the forest fires. Such a rapidly spreading forest fire can finish the biodiversity within a very short span of time. It is difficult to extinguish the naturally least forest fires. Many trees and other vegetation, animals and birds along with their habitats are destroyed due to the forest fire. The smoke emitting causes the air pollution. Famine. Answer: natural climatic. Due to the famine, there is a severe water scarcity. In absence of water, the fields and farms becomes barren as the crops cannot grow without water. There is a shortage of food grains. The cattle dies due to the want of water and grass. Local people have to migrate in search of food, water, and shelter. F is theft. Answer: man-made. International theft causes in economic loss for the one whose money or valuables are looted. The person who suffers the loss also undergo mental and emotional shock. Sometimes the thief may also cause physical harm. It may cost on life too. Question number 8 is
Question number 8 is, some syllables are given below. Explain those symbols which disaster may occur if those symbols are ignored. Okay. First symbol is explosive. Second symbol is inflammable. Third symbol is oxidizing. Fourth symbol is compressed gas. Fifth symbol is corrosive. Sixth symbol is toxic. Seventh is irritant. Eighth is environmentally hazardous. And ninth is a health hazard. Answer: the above signs are the warning symbols which should never be ignored. The meaning of each is given below. They are giving warnings to explosive, inflammable, oxidizing, compressed gas, corrosive, toxic, irritant, and environmentally hazardous and health hazard. In that first, some materials are explosive. While handling such a materials, care should be taken. We should not take anything that would cause fire leading to explosion. If explosion occurs, there will be a major disaster causing great loss of life and property. Thus, if this is seen, great care has been taken. Second, inflammable. Similar to explosive substances, the inflammable materials can also catch fire easily. Therefore, to warn people, such a sign is given on the material that can cause hazard by burning. Third is oxidizing. Some chemical substances are oxidizing. They carry out chemical reactions with a rapid speed. Example: if potassium permanganate falls on the cloth, it starts the reaction on its carbon-carbon bonds. Due to such a property of carrying out reactions, the clothes may catch fire. Therefore, oxidizing substances should be handled with care. Fifth is a corrosive. The corrosive substances are very reactive. The mere touch of corrosive substances can cause a destruction of the skin, eyes, respiratory passage, digestive organ, etc. rapidly. Just touching or smelling of such substances can cause major injury, and thus warning signs of corrosive substances should never be ignored. Toxic. To taste a toxic substances or even to smell it can lead to the death. The packing of these substances are therefore marked as a dangerous. They should not be avoided for as far as possible. Irritant. When a skin or any delicate part of the body come in contact with the irritant substances, it can cause harmful reactions, especially eyes, nasal mucosa and the skin are affected by contact with the corrosive substances. 8. Environmentally hazardous. Many substances cause harm to the environment due to their toxicity. Air, water or soil can be polluted due to such pollutants. When environment is affected, ultimately this hazardous effect can come back to the human species. Therefore, such substances should be carefully used. Their usage should be judicious and the control. 9th, health hazard. The substances that can cause hazard to the health should always be distanced from us. Such substances should not be kept in proximity. As far possible, they should be kept away and handled with a great care if needed to for anywhere. Materials marked with the health hazard can use serve toxicity. Question number 9. Explain that why it is said to like that. Mock drill is useful. Mock drill is the practice to check whether there is a preparedness for the dealing with the sudden attack of the disaster. For this purpose, virtual or the apparent situations that simulate the disaster are created. The reactions time for any type of disaster is checked by such activity in presence of the trained personnel. The execution of the rescue plans are observed. People also understand their responsibility at the time of the actual disaster. The expert also check the execution of the plan designed for disaster redressal by touching mock drills. The efficiency of the system can be understood in future when actual calamity strikes. There is already preparation for disaster redressal, therefore mock drill is useful. B. Effective disaster management makes us well prepared for future. Disaster can strike any time. The sudden disaster can be man-made with some bad intentions or may accidental. When natural calamity strikes suddenly with a huge impact, a large scale devastation of property and general environment degradation occurs along with the sustainable mortality of people and animals. Therefore, it is most appropriate to have the preparedness to reduce the impact of this future disaster. We cannot control the one set of the natural disaster, but we can definitely reduce the harsh effects of the disaster by following disaster management plan. Question number 8. Complete the following chart. See the answers of chart. Characteristics of the pre-disaster management: identification of the disaster prone areas, collecting information of the probable sites of disaster through hazard maps, special training for disaster management, increasing awareness in public about the disaster management. Question number 11. Following are the pictures of the some disaster. How will you pre and post disaster management in case of any dosi disaster? Answer: in picture given following disaster are shown. Two groups of the children are fighting with each other. There is a gas leakage from the LPG cylinder. There is a heavy downpour due to the bursting, which had led to the water flowing in the town. There is a cyclone causing a tornado. Disasters are the fight between the two groups. Pre-disaster management: we will try to sort out the problems between two groups. If that is not possible, we'll call the elders or teachers. If the fight is among elders, and police should be called. Post-disaster management: fight is taking place, we shall try to separate the two. We shall check up if anyone is injured. If injured, we shall give him first aid. We will also counsel them that they should not fight like this. Gas leakage: first and foremost, the windows and the doors are open immediately. We shall call the gas agency customer care department for help. The lights and the electrical equipment will not be burned. Avoid accidents. If gas is already leak in the house, we shall move immediately along with the pets if any. Downpour due to the cloud bursting: if the warning of the heavy rains is broadcast, the people staying in low-lying areas should be taken to safe places. Schools, colleges are kept closed. If such students or young children or sick persons are stranded anywhere, they should be helped to reach their destinations before the rain starts. By heavy rains, the transportation comes to halt. The water enters the houses in low-lying areas. We shall help the people to deal with this disaster. Can be given for draining the water. Municipal bodies open the storm water drains. In such cases, with the help of the elders, we shall spread the message of warning. In such places, we will not play in the clogged water, but will help the people who are in need. Tornado: the warning of the cyclonic tornado is given much before its approach due to modern techniques used by the meteorological department. The consequence of such event will be disastrous, so as to for possible we shall not go out of this house. If house is not in proper condition, then shelter is to be taken in any safe place. We shall help the people who are in need.